What up, everybody, and good afternoon. Welcome to a fresh episode of Dodgers Territory. That is Clint Pasillas. I am Alanna Rizzo. We are so happy that you are here, coming off a San Diego Padres sweep. I told you they were going to sweep the Friars. I love being right, especially when it comes to this. You guys, thanks for being here. We appreciate you very much. Don't forget, you can support the show in style. Dodgers Territory shop is open. Click the store button here on YouTube. Support the show. Go to DodgersTerritoryShop.com. Dave Roberts, the two-time World Series manager of your Los Angeles Dodgers, is our special guest today.
Yep.
It is his third time technically on Dodgers territory, but the last time we had Dave was our exclusive sit-down with him in spring training. So it's about dang time that we were able to get Dave back on the show. We appreciate it. But let's dive into what was one hell of a series against our division foes. Let's get to the big ticket.
Let's do it.
And honestly, Clint, this should be the huge, gargantuan, enormous ticket if you think about it, right? Because they claimed another 2-game lead in the NL West. This is exactly what they needed to do because I still think the division will be determined in the month of August because of the amount of head-to-head that we have. This was a nice series.
Yeah, rumors of the Dodgers' demise apparently greatly exaggerated. They just got to play, meaningful games against good teams, and all of a sudden, the difference a week makes, difference even 4 days makes when we're talking about this team in this series. But yeah, this series had a little bit of everything. I mean, starting with the stopper on the bump on Friday, Clayton Kershaw, so damn good at still so damn good at throwing a baseball. Seeing Blake Snell in there earning that money, seeing Tyler Glasnow be pretty dang good at throwing a baseball himself, but also Mookie Betts with a massive hit. Will Smith, don't run on Will Smith. Andy Pages hitting his 20th homer of the year. The bullpen bend but did not break. Again, the difference a week makes for this team. I loved everything I saw from this team. There's still plenty of room for improvement.
Well, sure.
But I loved what we saw, the tenacity from that team.
Yeah, there was more tenacity is a good word. There was more urgency. There was more grit. There was just more. And it was more in all of the good things. The thing I loved the most was the health and the production of Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow. I'm sorry, but this is exactly what this team thought we were getting at the beginning of the season. Coming into the year, this is exactly what you want. This is what you thought that this rotation was going to be about, and that is exactly it. I know Yamamoto didn't have the best outing his last time out, but he has an opportunity to get back on track against the Colorado Rockies. We'll talk to Dave about that. But I love it. I love the fact that when it mattered the most, they figured it out. We always know what you're going to get from Freddie Freeman. Will Smith was absolutely stupid, especially on Saturday. Mookie, it's so good to have him back. Like, no, like in a good way. Like stupid in a good way. I just love it. I love it all. I'm proud of this team. I know that it seems like a little weird to be proud, but I don't know. Like they're like my kid. It was good to see. They did exactly what they needed to do. It was a statement series. It was.
It really was. And again, you mentioned the Mookie there. I mentioned the Mookie there, but I loved him after hitting the go-ahead, ultimate game-winning sweep, securing a home run on Sunday afternoon. Him saying, telling Kirsten Watson, like, I'm just happy to contribute, and that's kind of been his mindset since he gave up on the season and just focused on the now. It's like, I just want to contribute, and he didn't have the greatest of series, but he drove in runs. He did that thing he does so well where sac flies are his game right now, and hitting a dinger, getting a little bit more drive on the baseball, that is huge. I want to focus a little bit more on Alex Vesia and the moment we saw yesterday, because I think that was a big dog moment, and we'll talk to Dave about it as well in a little bit. But Vesia, he had been kind of going through it a little bit. I think he allowed runs in his last like 4 consecutive outings or whatever. But yeah, he was on the bump when the Dodgers lost the lead on Sunday. But he was the guy ultimately that locked down the final 3 outs against the top of the Padres order. And he said, the dog, we still have that. It doesn't go away. And this felt to me like a bullpen that was kind of missing that dog for a majority of the year with all the injuries. Trinan gone, Tanner Scott kind of being
Yeah.
uneven. So to
Scott,
see
Yates,
Vesia,
Kopech,
yeah,
it's been banged up. And I think
yeah,
Alex Vesia has had to be in situations in which he wasn't necessarily built for, right? Alex
mm-hmm,
Vesia is not a closer. But what I like about Alex Vesia is that he's willing to take the ball. Like he's like,
yeah.
I'll do whatever it takes, and I'm going to have that tenacity, and I'm going to want the ball. And it's like that's who you want. You want a guy that wants to be in those situations, even if that's not exactly what he's like, what you signed him up to do. So yeah, I mean that was a big moment for him. We'll ask Dave about that. We'll ask Dave about getting Mookie back and instilling confidence in a guy that seemingly lost confidence in himself. What's the
Yeah.
plan for Michael Conforto? What's the
That's
plan for, all of the things? So I'm
hey,
happy that we have Dave on the show. We'll ask him all of these things.
yeah, a couple more real quick before we do throw to a break. Yeah, Conforto. Michael Conforto actually did things with the baseball. A couple hits, couple big runs batted in that Saturday kind of, the statement game, 6-0
The tip
game.
of the cap, a little,
Yeah, getting the tip of the cap, and we saw Doc earlier in the week, kind of going shoulder to shoulder with Conforto. They're having these conversations. And we know by this point, if it's August 18th, they are riding with Michael Conforto, getting the most out of him that we can. But all of that came together to give the Dodgers a back in the driver's seat in the NL West. 2-game lead in the NL West. Riz, to you, what? I mean, we've kind of already said it, but what did we learn from the series before we take a break and welcome Doc to the show?
That we have to remember that it's the long game, right? We have to remember that this team has been there, done that. They have the experience. They are the World Series champions, right? Until somebody knocks them off. So while there was a lot of consternation when they lost a 7 to 9 game lead or whatever the heck it was in the division, they figured it out when they needed to figure it out. And I do believe that this series of sweeping San Diego is going to bode very well for the next time we meet them in a few days, this upcoming weekend. I think this was
absolutely
massive. And I'm actually glad that they do play so close together.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see them until June, and now I feel like we see them all the time, and that's what you want, because I do think that the division is dependent upon this month. But what is also amazing is that Dave Roberts knows way more than we do, and he can peek behind the curtain and see what's going on as to why Conforto is still here, as to why they didn't send Andy Pajes to the moon when I wanted Andy Pajes to go to the moon. You know what I mean? So we're psyched. We're happy that you guys are here. Get your thoughts in terms of the chat. And let's welcome in Dave after this break.
Let's do it. The dog days of summer means MLB is fully heating up, and so is your shot to score big. Download the Pick 6 app for the easiest way to turn your baseball takes into actual cash.
Simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. No gimmicks, no weird rules.
Pick 6 customers will instantly get $50 in bonus picks on just a $5 entry.
Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use the code FOUL. That's code FOUL. New customers pay $5 and get $50 in bonus picks instantly. Ride the upside where a few bucks can turn into a bag. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. 8/24/25 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
So pleased to be joined by Dave Roberts, the manager of the World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers. Dave, I tell you, it's an interesting thing, this great game of ours, because you get swept by the Angels and then you sweep the Padres. Baseball is a conundrum. Make it make sense, Skip.
You know what? I would, if I had the answer to that one, guys, I would have slept a lot better these last 10 days. I don't get it. I think the only thing I can, I guess, wrap my head around is it's 162 games. It's a long season. And I know fans, media, us in the clubhouse don't understand why we can't be consistent with our play, or any team for that matter. But it is crazy that we haven't won a game against the Brewers all year, can't beat the Angels, and then we have our way with the San Diego Padres up to this point during the season. So yeah, baseball is one of those things that you just won't. I don't think we'll ever figure out.
Yeah, I mean it's a very very weird game. Saw a lot better brand of baseball out of your ball club this weekend. What can you say that you learned? Did the Dodgers learn anything about themselves from this series with the Padres this weekend?
You know what I can say is, we talked about urgency, and I've kind of said this the last few days or during that series where it's a heightened focus, and I do think that when I kind of do step away and you see guys like Freddie Freeman, um, those guys like him who just don't ever give away an at bat or take a playoff. That's something that's hard to accomplish. But I think as a group this past weekend, we did that.
Let's
So
give
I think
some
that
love
so
to
Clint, I think so sorry, Clint. So
Yeah.
I think that the lesson is really try to get us individually to raise our sort of intensity or focus, from here on out. Sorry,
Yeah.
Alanna.
No, that's okay. Let's give some love to Alex Vesias,
The
because
dog.
Alex Vesia, Dave, has been put in situations that perhaps he's not meant for at the moment, but he's risen to the occasion. I mean, a big moment for him yesterday, kind of like that big dog moment. Where have you seen him in terms of growth and development at the back end of your pen?
Man, Alex is probably, I've had him for, I think, what, 7 years, maybe something like that, 6 years. He's really, really grown. I think he's gotten a lot more comfortable in his own skin. He's a quirky guy, like most relievers are, but I just really, he's as hard a intentional worker as I've ever been around, and his confidence has grown tremendously. And I think it was one of those seasonal defining moments in the sense that his last four he scuffled,
Hmm.
and he's never run from it, and he's always taken the baseball. And then so right there, I feel that he's one of the core guys that we're going to need throughout the postseason. So I've got to instill confidence in him. And so going to him in that spot, I felt good about him in that spot. And then also he came to me, to be quite honest, and said, if it's a save situation, if we score a run, I want the ninth.
Hmm.
And then
Mm.
so for me is when a player has skin in the game and is that convicted, and has earned that right, I'll bet on him.
Yeah, I mean, I want to follow on that because we saw that, we heard about the conversation after the fact, and you know, the bullpen obviously it's had its ups and downs, probably a little bit more downs than anybody was expecting this year. Alex said, the dog is still there, but maybe the dog was asleep in the bullpen. That felt like a dog moment. How important was that to the guys in that clubhouse to see Vesia kind of step up and take a little bit of ownership in a kind of leader role where, I mean, guys have been missing again throughout the course of the season in that bullpen. It felt like that is something, to me, that's something big for the rest of the dudes in that bullpen where you're like, F yeah, I can get behind this guy. And now we kind of get that momentum going in the bullpen again. Am I reading too much into this, or how do you feel this helps the rest of the boys in that pen?
You nailed it. You nailed it, Clint. And it's funny as a coach where you can see guys evolve from the little puppy to the big dog in a certain role, right? And we've seen that from Alex, and he is a stalwart in the pen. He's one of the leaders in the pen. Obviously, losing Blake and getting Blake back, and he's accrued some service time. He's won two championships, and so it's like he's the guy. He's a real guy, and I do think that him adding a little light to the sleeping dog kind of message, not taking it too seriously, but really taking it seriously on the other end of it, is a message to the guys. Because I will say, in the pen, it's one of those things that you get gun shy, you get scared. then it really kind of shows up. But for him to bounce back the way he did, definitely, absolutely sends a message to his guys.
Dave, you talked about making sure Alex had the knowledge that you had confidence in him. Let's speak to that when it comes to Mookie Betts. How, as a manager, do you tell Mookie that you still have the confidence in him, a guy that seemingly lost confidence in himself?
I think it was one of those where, number one, I didn't move him down. And he even at times felt it might be better if he moved down in the order. And actually, I moved him up to hopefully just change his, way he looks at his role with the club offensively to maybe be a table setter. That was short lived. And then basically, I put him in the two hole, and I even said it publicly. And I'm not going to give him any outs.
Mhm.
And he's going to be our two hole hitter indefinitely. We don't have a better option, in my opinion, when he's in the lineup. And so I felt right there saying, hey, man, you're our two hole hitter indefinitely. So figure it out. And he took it and ran with it. So I think for me, that's the ultimate sign of confidence.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's good having Marcus Len Betts back in that lineup. You know, it's a dude we were hoping for at the trade deadline. It's like if this happens, no other team is able to add Mookie back to the lineup. You guys got him going again. It's really good to see him. Other pieces added back to the active roster. You're getting Snell. You got Snell back, Glasnow back. Finally seeing that starting rotation that pissed everybody off in the offseason. You know, that broke baseball. How has that been to see this unit of 5 or 6 dudes come together? Don't sleep on Clayton Kershaw, by the way. How has that been for you to see? And can we say this is the best starting rotation in baseball?
Yeah, I can say, 1 through 6. It's certainly the best rotation in baseball. 1 through 5. I still love what Emmett's doing, and it is nice. Each night we can. I write the lineup and I see that starting pitch and I go, man, I like our guy better than their guy, and that's a good feeling. And even Yama coming off a bad one, I think he's going to be certainly motivated here tonight. And then we got Shohei, who I know when he pitches on Wednesday, we're going to see a Shohei that's going to dominate for 5 innings. And the same thing with Emmett. So I just think we're going to keep this train moving, and it feels good. And I just think that, if we can continue to keep these guys healthy and perform the way that they're capable of, everything sort of feeds off of starting pitching for
Mm.
our club this year. And I think last year, we did it with a lineup in a crazy bullpen management situation. But for us to win the last game in October, it's going to have to be our starting pitching this year.
And Dave, is Roki Sasaki on that starting train? What's the latest with him? And is he willing, or do you guys see a world in which Sasaki, because of where he's at in the season, could come out of the pen for you?
So, Roki right now, he's going to pitch later this week. I don't know if it's Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. It's later this week for that OKC team. We got to build him up, number one, a little bit more. We got to get that velocity up, Alanna. And once we get to like 3 and 4 outings, we need to start to see performance. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think for Roki, he's a young ball player. I know he cares. I know he'll do anything that we ask him. And at the end of the day, we're going to go with our 13 best pitchers. And
Mm-hmm.
his talent is there certainly, but he's also got to perform too.
Doc, teams had injuries, unexpected slumps, just about everything in between. For you, what has been the biggest challenge so far this season?
Yeah.
You can start a laundry list if you need.
Yeah. Oh my God, as I put my head down and I think the biggest challenge, is, here's the thing, is when your starting pitching wasn't healthy and then your bullpen was banged up. So this is a run prevention thing, certainly, in the sense that you're trying to figure out how far you can push guys that aren't really ready to face, call it 23, 24 hitters. And then also have guys like Alex Vesia, Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates early, that you can kind of put in different roles to kind of kick the game down the road to save the game potentially earlier than you'd like. But if you look at a lot of major league games, a lot of games are won and lost in the fifth and sixth inning. And so it was hard to push starting pitchers early because that's when injuries typically happen, but then not red line relievers. So kind of balancing, threading that needle, Clint, was
Mm-hmm.
probably the toughest part. Fortunately, knock on wood, we've had positional player health, outside of obviously a few guys. But that part of the pitching was probably the most like mind numbing thing for me.
Sometimes I feel like I just want to give you a hug.
Yeah. Oh man.
Let's think
Yeah.
of the positive right now. Will Smith, my goodness, he
Oh,
set the
so
world
good.
on fire on Saturday. Don't run on Willie Dills. This is a guy that has been so instrumental behind the plate, managing your pitching staff, obviously. But to have a guy that can hit like that and do so many things has got to be pretty special. What do you take away from him?
Um, well, I think he's Freddie Freeman 2.0.
Hmm.
I think that he has really become a much better ball player because of Freddie Freeman. And Will doesn't speak a lot, um, but he watches. And I think that he's really learned from Freddie as far as how to take at bats, and behind the plate, he just has a great relationship with our pitchers. The arm really plays. And I think last year I read that he led major league catchers and caught stealing. So I said it the other day. I think he's the best catcher in all of baseball, and we're lucky to have him.
Um, I want to touch on some of the bats, some of the dudes in that lineup there. Teoscar Hernandez, love the dude. A great guy in that clubhouse. We know that. It hasn't been quite the same season. We're seeing some good, some bad here and there. Where are you think? What are you seeing in Teo right now and over the course of this season? And can we expect that full postseason version of Teoscar back when we need him most? In October.
I think I yes is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I think with Teo, there was an injury earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't hasn't been the same since. He's healthy now, but I do think that he is one of those guys that, when the big moment presents itself, he's there. Um, certain people, that's what they have. Kike is one of those guys as well. And I just had a good feeling that once we played the Padres, it was going to light a fire under him.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just see there was just a little bit more heightened focus. There was. And, you know, Teo himself can deny it, but I see it. I watch every at bat, every play, and in big games, in the postseason, the best of Teo comes out. Now the key is for us to get the best of him, for the rest of the season, because all these games matter.
Dave, there was a time early on in the season, I'll admit it, that I wanted to send Andy Pajes to the moon. And I'm so glad that I didn't send him to the moon because he has been so good in so many different ways for this club. And I wasn't patient enough with him, but you were. Can you speak to the growth of what you've seen from Pajes?
First of all, I want to give you props for even saying that. I didn't know that was your thought early, but I love that you held yourself accountable. Thank you for that. I just think for me, Alana, it's one of those things that I see behind the curtain. I see a kid from Cuba who has gotten considerably better, who works as good as any young player I've seen, and he's grown big time with that. He's not scared of moments, and when you play for the Dodgers, you're going to play in a lot of big moments. He's not your prototypical center fielder, but his
Mm-hmm.
jumps have gotten better. His arm strength is an 80 and accuracy baked in, as we saw yesterday. And I just felt that, hitting sixth or seventh in the order, he can drive in a run. I just felt that he cleaned up the fastball at the top of the zone with his swing. He's got different swings, different clubs I talk about at times.
Hmm.
He now has a swing within a swing. And we saw that yesterday where he's got a swing, but then he gets a slider and he's got another swing within that to be able to ride that ball out for a homer. So those are the things that I started to see and was willing to bet on. And you can see, guys, that there's certain players that I certainly have patience, more patience, probably than most people would like. But I just it's partly my job to believe in certain people on our club.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue because I think our fans would be upset with me, with us, if we didn't have to ask you about Michael Conforto. Obviously, not at all the season he was expecting. You guys were expecting. Love the hat tip. Love you never giving up on your dudes, and that's what makes you so damn good at this job. At some point, obviously, you really want to see the reward for that patience. What are you kind of seeing with Conforto? And I guess we could be blunt as I keep playing bad cop in our good cop, bad cop interview with you here. Is he going to be kind of the dude for you in the postseason?
That is a fair question. That remains to be seen. That is up to Michael, to be quite honest with you. Um, I think a lot of what I look at, there's a track record. There's a recency, and also the other part of it is what's the other alternative, right? And
Yeah.
I think that when you look at things like that, the on base is completely fine, and I felt that I feel that there's not a better option versus right. I've given him some opportunities versus left, which he did the other day versus Matsui, got a base it to left. Um, I feel that he's making some strides this past series. So we're going to see, but
Mhm.
it's not an extended leash. But again, you also have to look at who's a better alternative versus right. So right now, my money's on Michael. And to your question, I hope he is the guy in October because I do think that um, if we have a him and Kike or a call situation,
Mhm.
that's our highest ceiling for left field for the postseason.
Dave, 6 games with the Padres within a 10-day window. Obviously, you just swept San Diego recently, a series with Colorado now. You're in Denver as we speak, and then San Diego again. Does the division get decided this month?
Um, Probably not. No, and I guess I can say that pretty easily because the way we gave away 5 or 6 games so quickly. So I guess we've lived it. That probably not.
Baseball again. We just talked about it. Baseball
Where
is
are
a
you?
weird game.
It is. Where? So that's why you should just stick to golf. Where are you hitting the links? Are
Yeah.
you hitting the links at all today in Denver? The ball flies there, Dave.
Yeah, I play the meters, Alana, in Denver with the golf yardage, and I'm playing with my son actually. So we're gonna go play Cherry Hills a little bit later. The ladies are gonna go
Nice.
off early, then I'm just gonna play 9 and then head to Coors. So yeah, so I got my golf attire on, and honestly, I think that's been good for me because it's just a
Hmm.
little something for myself and can hit the ball with my son a little bit, and then kind of lock in on baseball. So it's been a good kind of yin and yang for me.
Let out a little
How is Cole?
aggression.
Where is he at
That's right.
in the whole baseball development? With where is Cole?
Yeah,
How's he doing?
he's not playing actively right now, and he's kind of trying to figure out if he wants to keep doing this grind or figure something else out. But he's with me. He's somewhere around. But for me, selfishly as a dad, I get my son for a couple extra months, which is great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, Dave, we appreciate your time, man. As always, it's a blast talking baseball with you. Appreciate you letting me grill you a little bit. Not that you get enough of that day to day with the regular beat writers, but hey, go give them hell in Colorado, man.
No, we will. No letdowns. And honestly, I think it's honestly refreshing just to talk baseball. So I think, this gives me an opportunity to kind of give everyone a look behind the curtain and be honest and transparent because a lot of times, people don't know everything I know. But this is good. I appreciate it, guys.
Cheers.
Dave, nobody knows everything that you know, and that's why we want to ask the questions. Like, that's why this team is so damn good, and the way that you manage is so refreshing. Thank you, Skip. We appreciate you. Please give my best to the family, and go get those Rockies.
All right, guys. Take care.
A huge thanks again to two-time World Series manager Dave Roberts. He's pretty dang good at talking to us, too. But, guys, we are going to take a quick break, and then we will be back with Last Licks.
FT fam, when you're playing in games, you kind of have some stress, anxiety. Teammates need something to help. Now it's at your fingertips with Rula.
That's right. Telehealth has been a huge help for millions of people, but it can be time-consuming and expensive to find the right therapist. Rula is on a mission to make this process smoother. And make sure you go to rula.com/Val for more details. They take most major insurance plans, and the average copay is only about $15 per session. Every provider on Rula is carefully vetted and chosen for their expertise. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head on over to rula.com/Val to get started today. After you sign up, they ask you where you heard about them. Please say that FT sent you there to support the show, but also worry about yourself here at rula.com, rula.com/FOUL, and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares.
All right, guys, I want to introduce you to Havana. Havana in her accent, coconut and captain. That's actually a Morgan Wallen lyric, but it is fine. This is Havana. She's a good girl. She needs an adopter. She is being fostered right now in La Habra, California. She was found as a stray, but she's up to date on her vaccines for her age. She's still a little bit too young to get spayed, but we will take care of that in terms of cost when she is old enough to do so. She's a sweet girl. We ordered the DNA tests, and we're just waiting to see the results. Our guess is a boxer pity mix, but we'll know soon. If you want more information on Havana, please reach out to guidrysguardian.org for more info. All right, Clint, what is coming up on All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas?
Today, we will be post-gaming. I may or may not be a part of that one because it has been a long day. And, where are you going to go? It's nowhere to go but down after talking to Dave today on
That
DT.
is true.
But, yeah, after the Rockies game, at the bare minimum, my co-host Jeff Snyder and my buddy, our producer Kevin, will be live on my channel. Maybe I do pop in there, especially if it's a win and a good Yamamoto game, because I need a good Yama game tonight. Mm-hmm. Baseball thought for the road. Had a lot of fun conversation there with Dave. I love talking about this series, like this kind of, some people might want to call it a trap series or whatever. I mean, to have the emotions of San Diego and then kind of have to go down to Colorado and then back to San Diego. What are you looking for in this series and all that kind of stuff?
I think exactly what Dave said, right? He said, we didn't even prompt him on it. He said no letdown. And I think that's so important that it's like you can't overlook Colorado just because it was such an emotional time against the San Diego Padres, because we've seen it, right? Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. And that's why you have to play the long game of 162, but you can't overlook the teams that you're not, that you assume you're going to beat just based on record and talent. But I like what he said, no letdown. Let's get at least 2 of 3. Of course, I would like to sweep them if I'm being, by the way, I do believe, that's right, the 4-game set. Yeah. By the way, I do believe I said that we were going to sweep the Padres. Bam, and I was right. I was right. No letdown. Let's get those Rockies. Let's at least take 3 of 4 before we play the Padres again.
Yeah, that would be breaking news. That would be good. Dodgers need to keep that momentum going. They got some good guys on the bump again tonight. You got Yamamoto, you got Sheehan in the series, you got Shohei in the series, and then Clayton Kershaw. Thankfully, I don't want. I said last time we were in Colorado, I don't want Clayton pitching in Colorado.
Yeah, you hate when Kershaw has to play it has to pitch at Coors. That is like one of
12
your
o'clock
biggest
game. He has a 12 o'clock Mountain or 1 o'clock Mountain Time game for him. So I think he can handle that. But even worse, I don't want Kershaw in San Diego. Not because of him. Fans at Petco Park and F off when Kershaw's on the mound. But that's just me.
But if they throw up the crying meme again, that's perfect. It benefited the Dodgers. It didn't benefit the Padres. That's fine.
It ultimately did. Hey, it'll benefit our fans if they go check out the Dodgers Territory shop. I got some stuff coming myself. I'm looking forward to having some new merch and a very giant shot glass, as you pointed out. But do either scan that QR code, go to DodgersTerritoryShop.com, or click the store button here on the YouTube and help support the show in style. We would appreciate it.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks as always for being with Clint and myself on Dodgers territory. A huge thank you to Dave Roberts for coming on for 20 minutes and sharing his insight.
Yep,
Clint and I will be back tomorrow, game 2 of the series with the Rockies. We're going to be post-gaming right here on Dodgers territory. Enjoy your Monday. We'll see you soon. Go Dodgers.
Bye.